con Pincel, al que le vamos a hacer unas preguntas.
Well, it came because we were working together. We didn't know each other before working on Challenges of the Unknown. I had been working in comics for a little bit before, but Jeff had never written a comic before. And so we kind of grew up together in the industry. And it was very crude in those days. He would call and describe to me the story, and I would make notes. And so that took a long time, and because of that, we became more friendly. We just sort of started talking more. Jeff and I are very different as people, but we're able to be very good friends. The books I like to read, I don't think make very good comics. They're called procedurals, and they can be very dark, but you're following a cop or somebody sort of almost every minute of the day, and you're interested because you're interested in his life. But it's pretty boring to make a comic like that. So a lot of my influence is the movies and the really dark black and white, where the term came from, and obviously a French term. So there's a romance, a femme fatale, darkness, a gun, and that's kind of my idea, and that'll be the springboard for any kind of story you want to tell. Criminal, I didn't read Criminal. I hear good things about it, but I didn't read it. But I thought 100 Bullets was great. Azarel is very good, and Riso, never missed a deadline. So much work in it, and it was amazing what he could do. I don't know if there's a big influence in America, except for me. The big thing, like everywhere, is now manga, and it's true in the US as well. Spain, France, and Belgium have had a strong comics industry, especially France and Belgium, for a long time. And within that world, they're very influential, and some of the, obviously people like Moebius influenced everyone, but there aren't too many people that were like that. There's a fellow here at the show today, Ruben Pelejero, who I've been a fan of for a long, long time, and I have no Spanish and he has no English, and so it's very hard for us to communicate, but he influenced my work a lot in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Well, those are the two big ones for me. And then Burnett and Juanjo Guarnido, The Black Sad. No, nothing. I was part of the prop department. Really, I was making props. And I worked very closely on the pilot, and I'd read the script before getting the job. And the way it worked was that I was asked to do, by Tim Kring, I was asked to do some illustrations for the script itself, so that when he presented it to the studio, they might be more likely to understand what he was doing. And the next thing I knew, there was a pilot. It was going to be 2 hours. It was a big thing. And there weren't such a thing in the original script. There weren't paintings. There was the artist, Tobias Mendez, but no paintings. And then it evolved to the paintings were going to be a big part of the story. So the paintings had to be important, and they asked me to do it. And, so that's how I got involved in it. But I didn't want to have any input on the rest of it. Jeff didn't work on the pilot, but he came on right after that. And he and Tim Kring had known each other for 20 years or so. there was a history there. Yes. Well, I'm colorblind, and so I work always in black and white. Catwoman in Rome, Daredevil Yellow were both done in black and white and gray with charcoal and ink wash, and that's what I did to do the paintings on Heroes, and it would be scanned in the computer, colored by somebody else, Dave Stewart, who I work with in comics, and then enlarged and printed on canvas. So there's no actual paint. Sometimes I'd have to do 6 or 7 in a week. Most of the time I do 1 or 2, but there was never a week I didn't do something. Well, it fits perfectly. I never get tired of drawing him. I love him as a character, his psychological back down and breakdown, and the tragedy of his life, and the costume is great, the villains are great, all that stuff. And I get to use a lot of black, so that's a lot of fun. Well, as much as I can follow on television in the U.S. More and more, it's easier to follow, but it's still, how much time do I have? And I don't have the same, because, if, for instance, you were watching a sport that you liked, but it was another country, and you didn't really know the teams, you didn't have a fondness for particular players except for how good they were. So I don't have that sort of feeling about it the way that with my hometown team or something. Actually, my hometown is Seattle. I live in Los Angeles now, but I still think of Seattle as my hometown. And they have a very successful soccer team in American standards. I used to play also, but I didn't start until I was almost 20. So I can only get so good. Hi, this is Tim Sale. Hello to all you freaks out there.